Welcome to the Emo Social Club podcast, broadcasting to you live from emosocialclub.tv. I am Brian.
And I'm Lizzie, and we're here this evening with Chicago punk rock legends, Naked Raygun. Thank you so much, guys, for hanging out with us this evening. We're really stoked to talk with you.
Glad to be here.
Thank you.
I'm
the singer.
Oh, yeah.
Eric, try to play drums.
And I'm Lou. I get to stand in for both Fritz and Bill, who are working tonight.
Yep. Yeah. At what point?
Somebody's got to throw it in.
Yeah. At what point do you get to call yourselves legends? Like, how do you know?
Never do.
So it's just everybody else calls you.
I don't think they can. That wouldn't be fair.
Sure. Yeah. Is it like giving yourself a nickname? Like, you can't just give yourself a nickname. You can't just call yourself a legend.
Right. The biggest guy in the block who you call Tiny can't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you guys are like the, I mean, I've known of your band forever because it's like you've been around forever. So it's like, to me, just that like staying power and being that name that's like brought up so often in the Chicago scene. It's like, yeah, I think that makes you legends. Like if you're being like name checked in the Chicago punk scene, I think you're part of it, you know?
Somewhere,
well,
yeah,
being a legend and $3 will get me a medium coffee at any Dunkin' Donuts.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Unless that the barista knows you, and then maybe it's like, hey, coffee's on me today. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we have you on tonight because you guys have just released your 6th album. Your first in 30 years. Am I
over 30 years?
Am I reading this correctly?
Yeah.
This is the first album. In 30 years we had releases between quite a few, actually. We had 3 singles with B-sides. We had Free Shit. We had
I was about to say. Love it. Oh, no.
I was off for a while?
Yeah, you were off for a while.
Oh.
And that, yes, it's the first full-length album in 30 years. But as you can see, actually right behind Eric, those 3 singles that they did probably around 2009, 10, and 11. So there was an A and a B side to both of those. That's all new music as well. So originally the guys were planning on putting out just a series of singles like that. But then they came to a point where the realization was that they had so much material that they might as well put an album out. So, and here we are 10 years later.
Yeah.
Didn't want to do the whole like, oh, we're just gonna intermittently release stuff and then see what happens. Just put it all in one. Call it a day. So when we also are looking at your new album that is out here, we kind of also see your single that you also did release over at WONC, which is the college radio station, which is one of my college radio stations I was at. And I think that's a really cool thing that you guys kind of contacted and did something that's more localized for this release. Can you kind of go into that thought process when it came to it?
Sure. Someone want to take it, or you want me to take it?
I think that was Wax Track's idea, wasn't it?
Yeah, actually, no. The folks over at North Central reached out to us and asked us if we would be game to do it. And like you said, Lizzie, I think the band as a whole is very much, has always been very amenable to giving back to the community and those, especially around Chicago area. So like this, they're always game to do things like that.
And with that, how was kind of the reception and like the just general overall vibe of it?
Are you talking specifically of the radio station show or the album in general?
About your radio release for the radio show, the hype around it. and then we could talk about the CD, the album release.
Sure. So obviously none of us planned on, and again, you guys can jump in, Eric and Jeff. I think from our standpoint, because of COVID, we really couldn't do a proper record release party, right? So what they ended up doing is they did the 4-song or 6-song sort of pre-release at the House of Vans over the summer. So that was kind of fun, except for there was no fans. But other than that, it was great. We were at the House of Vans and we were singing live. So that's fun. And then they did a series of radio shows and other interviews, kind of pre-release and post-release of the album, which was supposed to come out and be delivered on August 2nd. But as with most cases in the pandemic, the supply chain was kind of screwed us up, and we couldn't get the vinyl out on the first day, which was our ultimate goal. But obviously it did eventually come out on vinyl, which we were probably most proud of.
Well, that's awesome. And what was kind of the thought process with working with Wax Trax for this release?
For the album, the whole album?
Yeah, for the whole album release. So
you want me to go? I'll take this one again. Sure. So Wax Trax came about for a couple of reasons. And to be, completely transparent, the original thought was that we were going to potentially put the album out ourselves. The band was without a record label affiliation. And then, as you probably know, Pierre Kesdy, unfortunately, his cancer came back. And the decision was at the time, we were still researching potential record labels, and I happened to be sitting next to his bed, and his Strike Under album was there, and it kind of, the light bulb went off, being that Strike Under was literally Wax Trax's first album they ever put out. So it's 001 on the Wax Trax label, which Pierre was a part of. So the thought was potentially it making a lot of sense for Pierre's first and then last album to be put out on Wax Trax. So literally right after that band meeting, all the guys were on the phone. We were of course pandemic, so we were all on Zoom. Mm-hmm. And I reached out to Julia and Mark to see if they'd potentially be interested in putting it out on Wax Trax. So that's how it came about. And of course, they were probably just as happy about releasing it on their label as we were. And we put the deal together rather quickly, and the rest is history.
I was listening to a podcast the other day, a couple days ago, and it was about 9 Inch Nails, and Trent Reznor probably mostly, because what else are you going to talk about? And they were talking about like industrial and music from Chicago, and so of course Wax Trax Records comes up, and I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure we're going to be talking to some guys that are on Wax Trax that have done some stuff with Wax Trax. So the same thing is like, it's just the name keeps going around, and you're like, wow, there's like this long history of all of these Chicago things. And I don't know, maybe it's like we just don't have a ton of that because it's the Midwest, and so there's like a very specific realm here, and we don't get like the LA or New York sounds. We don't get the influence. We don't get any of that. Like, I don't know. Do you think like being a Chicago band, being a Chicago like record label, like what is that? How does that feel? What does that mean to you guys?
Oh, I thought it was great. They're from Chicago. We are really good. A good match.
And ironically enough, Jeff was, obviously he was in Big Black, which is pretty industrial, and Spicer played a part in the Palehead album as well, which is Trent, not Trent Reznor, but industrial to say the least.
Just the single, their first single.
So you have even more ties.
I did a small, I think it was like a semester sort of internship with Martin Atkins, doing like the Invisible records, and was involved in like the website and merch sales and all that. And I was like, I don't know anything about this, but there was one song that Martin, I think it was Head Like a Hole, if I'm remembering correctly, that he was the drummer in Nine Inch Nails at the time. And I was like, that's all I need. I'm in. This is awesome. This is so cool. And now I know like Pigface is like kind of just everybody, like every person just
Whoever
does it.
was available.
Yeah. It's like, oh, we're doing a tour. Who can make it? And you get way too many people who respond, yeah, I can make it.
And Martin Atkins is a really cool guy. I like him a lot. He was out there working it, you know?
Yeah. I think it was really interesting, like working on the behind the scenes, because I had seen him as the like music business introduction, you know, the dude who swears and welcome to the music industry, you're fucked. Like, I'm like, okay. And then working on the backside of that, he was like, yeah, you'll be in charge of like the newsletter and the merch store and Invisible Record side. And so I'd send out these emails, and it just like, because he'd always send a like tweet or an email that would be like, get the fuck out of bed. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to lean into that. And I would start like sending these newsletter emails with like the subject line of like, don't fucking miss out or something like that. And I would get like responses like, hey, tone it down. What do you relax? It's like, you're the one who signed up for this. You know how Martin Atkins talks. Shouldn't be surprised.
I mean, when you're working with, you know, Chicago punks for the most part, you have that kind of original energy, I feel, most of the time. And when we kind of see it nowadays, what are some either, you know, Chicago, local Illinois, or any type of artists and bands you guys are currently into?
Boll Weevils, for sure.
Band from Australia called Stiff Richards.
Australia. A little far from Chicago.
So that's a really good name. I like that name.
Rivals still around. I like the Arrivals.
Yeah, the Arrivals were good.
With the Boll Weevils.
Something Pumps are really good.
Even though they moved, how about, you know, Dan Vapid and the Cheats?
And Vapid's great. All the bands are great.
Yeah.
A band called the Addisons is pretty good. Tom Daly's band.
Tom Daly.
They play bass. The bass was in Textbook.
Imagine.
You know, without.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, without shows, you know, it's you know, you start to forget about, you know, like who's in what band.
Yeah, it's well, so I think one of the first places that I had kind of learned about the legendary status. I'm going to keep saying it because, you know, from our standpoint, I can say it. Was at like Cobra Lounge, and like there, you know, you just be at Cobra Lounge and like the Riot Fest world of it all, and you'd be like, oh yeah, Naked Raygun is just like kind of like that. It's like those three things just kept happening in like the same sentences, like Riot Fest, Cobra Lounge, Naked Raygun. So I imagine that you've probably perhaps seen a bunch of bands like at Cobra Lounge that have just come through, or you know, gone there and like heard of bands just like coming through and playing there.
For sure.
Recently.
Yeah. We practice.
Yeah, they practice on the fourth floor.
Oh, nice.
Like,
that's our home, man.
Yeah.
It's literally, yeah. And that's why there's Wonder Beer. It's Eric's Wonder Beer is there.
Okay.
And why it's called All Rise.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ties.
Yeah, this is all coming together for me now.
It's all making sense for you.
Yeah.
Together.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a beer called Backlash Jack too.
Backlash Jack, yep. So a couple beers. The place is called All Rise. There's a lot of Chicago or Naked Raygun connections.
Yeah.
I think as well, for at least growing up and getting into punk music, when I first played the Disney skateboard video game, they had Alistair somewhere down on Fullerton. And then me being like 10 years old at the time, I went to go see like other similar bands, and Naked Raygun was one of the ones that popped up in my search. And then kind of also seeing it come in later when I saw Rise Against at House of Vans, they had your old the Jettison logo on their Rise Against shirt, and I said, "Oh, that's really cool." And then I'm like, "Wait, where's this from?" And I found it again. I like realized, put two together. So I feel like there's really wholesome community all around here with Chicago, even if, you know, a band maybe is only pulling out singles, isn't super active, but it's still kind of at the root base of what, you know, punk music and the ethos of it is.
Yeah, I sang an Alkaline Trio song.
They're really good guys.
I sang an Alkaline Trio song. I also sang on a Rise Against song, an album.
Why don't I know which Alkaline Trio the song this is?
Which song?
Yeah.
Alkaline Trio song goes, a deep dark secret down in a hole. Sorry, that's been told. Know the song?
I know all their songs, but now I'm like, wait.
Now you're second guessing yourself.
Second guessing.
Well, I think, you know, the one thing to note, Lizzie, you know, when you talk about, you know, when you kind of talk about that sort of stuff, and I can say this because, of course, I'm not in the band. You know, I think Naked Raygun as a band from the beginning of time were always accessible, right? I think that's why, you know, and I'm not going to say the word legend like you guys are saying it, but that's why a lot of bands look up to them, because they always gave them access to them. Like every opening band, always in the dressing room, always hanging out. That was their shtick, right? You know, Sludgeworth, whatever the band was, they were all part of the scene, and they were all part of, you know, Naked Raygun made them feel at home. So that's why Joe Principe from Rise Against references Naked Raygun all the time. Daryl Wilson from the Boll Weevils references Naked Raygun all the time. You know, Fall Out Boy, you can go Alkaline Trio. They all kind of turn their heads or nod to Naked Raygun, because back in those days, in the, you know, 80s and 90s, those bands looked up to these guys, and these guys sort of welcomed them with open arms. And it was kind of like the scene. That was just who these guys were. And I think that's partially why they continue to reference them. You know, it's not just the Dave Grohls of the world who also references Naked Raygun constantly. It's these littler bands, these punk rock bands that were in and around Chicago that looked to Naked Raygun, and now they make music.
Thanks, Lou.
It is very it's I think sometimes there's a little bit of that like concern that the older scene, the people who've been doing it for a lot longer are very protective of what it is. So it is very refreshing to know that, like, as these new artists come out, as these new bands are getting influenced by you, that it's a supportive community here, and everybody's like behind all of it. For sure.
And I think, like I said, it's evident in a lot of, you know, I say more modern music, right? Like Pete Wentz from Fall Out Boy, when they're here, you know, they had Jeff hold the Stanley Cup at Riot Fest. Blink 182, there's a song that says at the Metro, going to see Naked Raygun, right? It's in the Blink 181 song, you know, like I'm sure 90% of the Blink 182 fans are like, who the hell's that? But again, it's there.
That is really cool, though.
Do you
kind of like that?
Yeah, like, do you ever feel like, who the hell is this Blink 182 band, and why am I in a song that they play?
Well, I'm familiar with them.
Yeah, we know who they are.
I'm familiar with them because my kids used to listen to them.
They see. I'm like, if I have kids and they're like, oh, you should listen to this band, and it's like a band that, like, you know, I grew up on, I'd be like, yeah, I know. Like, I know this band.
I know this.
Why are you telling me about this Blink 182? I know them.
Right.
The kid, I can't get out of here. Or like, you know, something that's like the MGK or the artists that are doing like the pop punk sound now, and like saying, oh yeah, I really like this. And I'd be like, listen, we had Blink 182. We had Fall Out Boy. We don't need this. I'm going to turn into that guy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it happens.
I definitely.
think one of the biggest things is that recently I had students come up to me. They're like, "Oh, we want to add this new music into our music catalog." I said, "Okay, like what is it?" Because it can't be, crude or vulgar because of FCC. We love it. They're like, "Oh, this band called the Radiohead." And I said, "You mean Radiohead?"
Right.
And I was like, "Excuse me, I'm having a moment right now. I don't even like Radiohead that much, but I was having a moment." Yeah, I was like,
yeah. Just found this awesome new band we should put on the radio. They're called Metallica.
Yeah.
Just came out.
Yes.
The Metallica.
The Metallica.
The Metallica. You have to add the "the." Like if you have like the Fall Out Boy, like just add it. It adds a little bit of something.
The Fall Out Boys.
Yeah.
Proves your point right away.
Yeah, that's the worst. Driving my kids a number of years ago, and actually I had a playlist on. Sugar Cubes are playing, whatever. So the girl says, "Wow, that sounds a lot like Bjork." I'm like, "Yeah, that is Bjork." And they're like, "No, it's not." I'm like, "Yes, it is." They're like, "No, I have all her albums, and this is not a song of hers." All right, moving on.
All right, can't help you at a certain point. Sounds good. Something I did want to ask is that in a recent Jaded in Chicago interview that you guys did, is that you kind of referenced that the new music, the most recent music you put out on this album, references like some inspo from the bad Oasis music. So not like Wonderwall, but like their not great other music. And I kind of wanted to get a little bit deeper into that because I personally have never listened to Oasis that much, but this explanation seems a little bit sounding like crazy to me.
I don't know about that. I want to hear about it too.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that one.
Come on, there's no one on me.
It must have been Bill. It was probably Bill. It's a Bill quote. That sounds very much like a Bill quote.
Yeah,
I'm looking at it now,
really,
and it's all Bill.
Yeah, I was like, this seems a little bit a weird way to reference your music, but okay. I mean, everyone has creative differences and outlets. So if that what it may be, it may be.
Yeah, so we'll have to have Bill on the show one time, and you can answer that question.
But overall, what were your guys' like inspo for putting this record together? It still has that OG punk feel, obviously fast, loud, and a lot of the songs still under 2 minutes or a minute. What you kind of always hear in punk music. It's not a punk song unless it's under 2 minutes. But where after all this time that you have been developing these tracks, this music, and also in between these singles, what was your like overall thoughts on like producing it and getting it out there? Like what was the kind of meaning for it overall?
Like the big one was trying to get it. Well, one big one was trying to get it released, before Pierre passed. We didn't make it, but we tried.
Yeah, it was done, but it was not released, unfortunately. And it spans a number of years. They were in the studio quite a long time putting this album together. Pierre had his stroke in 2010, 2011, and that sort of hindered him, obviously, playing the bass, but he still was very involved from construction, writing lyrics, song, all that kind of stuff. So
it was kind of a good integration of let's get this done and get it out for the last, kind of like the last like hurrah in a way.
Yeah.
Got all the records out though. I think on we spent such a long time doing it. We had to get it out. We just had to add them all up and we can.
Yeah, so we have that, and then with this being the 6th album, do you guys think that there will be any other albums after this? I mean, again, we had kind of like a 30-long hiatus, so there's a little bit in between time.
Will it be another 30 years? Yes,
or will it be maybe something afterwards, or may this be one of the last few like full lengths potentially for Naked Raygun? Wow, words are hard today.
Wow. Okay.
We plan on releasing the 3 singles and the B-sides on one album and putting about 5 or 6 more new songs with it and doing that.
Yeah, as far as another album, and I don't want to speak for them per se, but I do know, they definitely have tons of material. I mean, all the guys write. Eric still writes. Jeff has tons of material. So it's not lack of material that would stop them from putting out another album. I think, once again, it's a time factor, right? There's, as always been the case, they all have other jobs, right? They all have day jobs. Music is not their full-time gig, unfortunately. So everything takes a little bit of time.
Yeah, quite tragically, you always have to tell the kids punk rock
really,
doesn't pay the bills.
really a long time.
It's there's always that meme of like somebody working on their record and they're like, yeah, I'm going to put this out of an recording in my bedroom. I've got all this stuff recorded. I'm ready to put it out. And then you're just like, no, I'm going to delete it. I don't want anyone to hear this. It's like 30 years later, you're like, I'm ready. I got this. I also like Lizzie mentioned, like the punk songs are shorter. And I'm like, that's a really good way to like have a lot of material because you just can write like a bunch of 2-minute songs. And I firmly believe that most songs should probably be around 2 minutes. I think this 3.5 minute thing is of the past. I think we're ready for just short songs, get to the point, have a good time, move on to the next one. And then you can do a 30-minute set, play 45 songs.
That's like
when you like to say, when you like to say, oh, I saw this band, they played all of their songs. It was
their entire catalog in an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They got their whole catalog, full hour, done. I've seen everything they have. It's perfect.
They threw in a B-side too, just for funsies, and oh man, they had the time to do it.
Right. For sure. That's classic Descendants. 4 pages of a set list.
Yeah.
They have songs that are 10 seconds long. So
now here I wonder what that.
I couldn't hear you, Jeff. What?
We may be losing Jeff again.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the problem with living so far away from civilization. The wind changes direction and we lose internet connectivity.
Yeah, you're back.
Yeah, you're back.
Spoke too soon.
Yeah.
Text me.
Fax it to him.
That's it. Oh my God.
Someone in the chat said, can we get more Jeff in the monitors?
Yeah, right.
Did anybody hear what he said?
No.
No.
Need more Jeff in my ears.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. What were you saying?
On stage with those songs.
Oh, the Wheel of Songs.
Oh,
yes.
That was a blast.
That was a Pier thing. The Wheel of Songs.
Yeah.
Did we play almost every song then?
Pretty close.
Is it like
we had some that we weren't going to do. We had some that we weren't going to do. But
yeah, because you guys polled the crowd even, right? So there was people submitted. So basically every single song was on the Wheel of Songs. So think of a carnival wheel, right? And then someone in the audience would spin it, and wherever it landed, these guys would have to sing it. So,
what if it landed on the same song? Like that. You do it twice.
No, we didn't do it twice.
Okay.
It's like that game. What's that game show? What's the game show?
Wheel of Fortune.
Wheel of Fortune.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah. We love it.
Yeah.
It was like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It just like.
I think we had.
Oh, go ahead.
I think we had other things on the songs though. Did we?
Like yeah. If it landed on something, then whoever spun it whoever spun it, and if it landed on a certain thing, then they would have to come up on stage and whatever, take off their shirt or something stupid.
Do something or it was
so like you had to eat a salami or something. Like it was the most ridiculous. That was a Reggie's show. That show was at Reggie's. Yeah, drink Malort or something, crazy.
That's not that bad.
Oh no, it was like It was like Rock and Rye or something. There was like chunks of stuff floating in this bottle of liquor.
Oh no.
Yeah.
It looked,
Yeah, it's true.
it looked like, but yeah, we had some of that, and a couple poor souls had to take a swig of that.
Yeah, that. My lord.
We called it Danger Request Night, right? Wasn't that it?
Danger Request Night. Okay.
Right. So so if you spun the wheel to play a song and it landed on that, you had to pay the consequences.
Yeah.
Is it
was
that
really fun and games for us?
Yeah. I'm like, did you want to? Because I would imagine like just having a wheel of songs and you play whatever comes up is like, that's work for you. But it sounds like you were also putting the audience to work a little bit. Like,
For sure.
No, you get up here and entertain them.
This is an interactive experience for all.
Right. It's kind of like adaptation of the free shit theory, right? So every Chicago show, Naked Raygun has free shit. Well, this was a lot of participation from the crowd because, like I said, if you spun the wheel, you were liable if it landed on something that wasn't a song.
Mm-hmm. Take the chance.
It was immersive.
Yeah.
Somebody goes up there like, man, I really want to win the vinyl, and then they're like, actually, you need to drink this thing. Like, you don't know what is in it, but you know what? Good on you. Good on you.
Go about your night.
I mean, one of the things they had to do was drink some bitters.
Bitters, yeah. There was all kinds of crazy concoctions of stuff they had to do.
Someone in the chat mentioned pickled herring.
Yes.
Yeah,
There was, that could be it.
I've had that before. Yeah, that would be torture.
I like it.
I like it.
Yeah, but would you want to eat it at Reggie's?
Yeah.
Probably not.
No.
In front of all those people? Probably not.
Yeah. Reggie's finest pickled herring.
Yes.
Room temperature herring.
Yeah. This
But
literally sounds like torture.
Again, it's a bonding experience. It brings everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, for sure.
You're always going to remember that one Naked Raygun show where you were trying to get the taste of pickled herring. Yeah. Where you've never been right since.
But then you tell your family, you're like, but it was punk rock. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
That's right.
Yeah, it's punk rock.
Really hardcore show.
Yeah. So something else I did want to ask was that in my brief research with going through kind of your history, something that popped up a lot was you being accredited to the Chicago Sound. And I couldn't find too much info on what that is specifically, but I have a slight idea. But what can you guys kind of say to put into like words or your own perspective of what you think that means or has been to you?
I don't know who said that originally. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's been floating around for a very long time.
Was it Jim DeRogatis?
Yeah, I think he was the first one to say it, and then it's been picked up many, many times since then.
I would say we're part of the Chicago Sound.
Cool.
We're not totally the Chicago Sound.
Yeah.
The 3 or 4 bands that kind of sound similar to us or the same school of thought, and then there's a bunch of bands that don't, like Smashing Pumpkins, that are great. Fair.
Yeah, I think, I have my own theories.
All guitar based, though. Guitar based.
Yeah, that's it. I think the big guitar is a big piece of it, right? I think, back in the day it was Haggerty's guitar and then Bill's guitar that played a central role. But again, Naked Raygun would not be Naked Raygun without Jeff on vocals or Spicer on the drums or Pierre on the bass. So I think collectively they had their own sound. There was like nothing else at the time, for sure. I think it was a little bit slower or less screaming than a lot of punk rock. But at the same time, I think people enjoyed going to Naked Raygun shows, not just because of the music that they played, but again, the people that they are.
It's kind of showcasing your personality and making it attractive to people and say, yeah, I also want to hang out with them. They're nice people. They made me eat pickled herring, but they're nice people.
Yeah.
Right. And I got a cool magnet. Can't beat that.
Listen, who else is going to give me a magnet at their show? No.
Crowd's very friendly too. They always pick each other up when they fall. And
For sure.
not like most bands.
Yeah, I have notoriously fallen a lot in pits lately, and it's gotten very unfortunate that many kids don't know that rule. And when you kind of like say like, hey, you're supposed to pick people up, they still look at you like you're a crazy old person. I'm like, I am still one of you at this show. I'm trying to help you. Help me.
Lizzie, to be fair, did go into a pit recently with her full backpack on. And I was like, Lizzie, I can hold your backpack for you. You don't need to be in there like with your books and your laptop. Like you fall down, you're breaking you can't finish your teaching, your syllabus. Yeah.
The kids won't get their grades, and it'll be very tragic for them.
Yeah. Sorry, I lost your grades in a pit.
Everybody gets an A.
Yeah, that's how it works, right?
Yeah. Right. Teacher's 15 minutes late. Everybody leave.
Yeah.
Or you'd be stuck like a turtle on its back.
Mm-hmm.
I always compare myself to a turtle because my backpack is also green.
Mm-hmm.
It's always on my back wherever I am. So I'm like, like a little turtle every day of the week.
I was like, this is like, I never want to assume that anybody's like, judging you for it. But I was kind of like, I hope somebody's looking at her right now and is just like, man, I need to like not get near this girl with her giant backpack, like throwing elbows and
throwing elbows in a dress.
Yeah.
Like, listen, I don't know what else you want from me at a certain point other than brutality. At the Kenny Hoopla gig.
Yeah. You're like, it's a Thursday night. I came here to jam.
Dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like when you got school during the day, but you've got a show to go to at night.
Yeah. It's literally that meme.
Nice.
So thinking back to
Good
kind
for
of, yeah, you got to get up and just go. So, and like just move around. I find it very fun. So I personally do.
You just lose yourself in it and you're like, I don't know what to do. So I'm just going to do this. But it's like, whoa. Like you're out there without a, care in the world, but your backpack is just going to like knock somebody down. Like
it be that way. Be more aware. I don't know what to tell you.
You know what? I'm not holding your backpack for you from now on.
No, you will.
It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility.
But thinking back to maybe the pits you guys have either been in or seen, what is some stuff that you've seen gone down that you think is absolutely like wild? Doesn't even have to be bad, just like wild.
Well, for me, I like, I would hear about, the pit or the walls of death.
Mm-hmm.
And I where I sit, I can only see like the first, few rows of people, and then it's black after that.
Mm.
And I thought, I always thought people were making stuff up or like exaggerating something like later on where you could see like the entire audience. And I was like, wow, I had no idea.
They're all gone. Like every time I've seen a wall of death, it's always felt very concerning to me. And I'm always like, I got to get out of here. And I run away, just fully to the back. Like, please don't hurt me.
Yeah. Right. Or stage diving. That's crazy.
I did plenty of that at Naked Raygun shows.
Yeah, I was about to say, I'm like, I like to stage dive. I like to be that problem.
No.
Yeah, I'm that person. But luckily, I only weigh like $110. So
I'm fine with stage diving, especially if you're in the band. I hate crowd surfing, like from the back. I think that is just it's so annoying because randomly you'll just like the
get a boot.
like Riot Fest, I was just, standing there watching a band. All of a sudden I get kicked in the back of the head. And of course I'm like, man, I missed shows. Like, this is so nice to be back at a show. And I don't even care if somebody's kicking me in the back of the head. But at the same time, I'm like, man, don't. Like, just stay on the ground. Keep your feet where they belong. You're just kicking like random people. And it's always like the one person who's like, I want to go up, and then they get lifted and then immediately fall right back down, or like are being lifted up and then they like flip upside down and so their feet are dangling in the sky. And it's like, what's the point? What's the point of any of this?
I've never done that.
I think I tried one time, and I think it was at a show when I had just a little bit too many beers. And I was like, oh, yeah, me. And then I like,
Sounds silly.
I think they tried, and I was like, nah, I changed my mind. I don't want to do this.
Why were you scared of the height? You're 6'3".
I know.
The height shouldn't scare you.
I'm 6 foot.
You are that height.
I know. It's just, I'm just head level with everybody else. I think I know that it's rude because I know that like I'm not in control of my body and I can very easily just like knock into somebody, and I wouldn't want that to be me. So I don't want to do it to that. I'm kind heart when I'm at a show. Like, wow, let me get out of your way and let me not kick you in the head.
I mean, you can just lift your
I'm
feet
like that.
up.
Now, if the band kicks me in the head, I say, this is the best show I've ever been to. This is incredible.
You say thank you.
Yeah. Show's so good. You know, the band is even living dangerously.
Yeah, I think Cobra Lounge was the Naked Raygun show at Cobra Lounge. That was the last time I stage dove. I'm way too old for that now, but that was the last time. And I actually got hauled outside and thrown out in the cold.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
There was no stage diving allowed.
Yeah.
Luckily, Sean came out and got me. Otherwise, I would have been out for the rest of the night.
Ooh.
Was that 06?
Yeah. There's actually video of it on the interwebs. Knock me down video. You can see me stage diving. It was actually in Time Out magazine.
Ooh.
Whoever took photos, there's a photo of me, both my feet. You see my docks at Cobra Lounge.
That's all the kids ever want, is that their docs get photographed and put into Time Out or Chicago Reader or anything. Be like, that's my foot. You know it's my foot.
I was there. Here's a picture of my foot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I saw Alistair there, because I love Alistair. It's me and my best friend's one of our favorite bands next to Hawthorne Heights, so we always go see them when they play a show. And she was like, oh, do you want to crowd surf? I'm like, it says no crowd surfing. We're going to get kicked out. And then some kid crowd surfed, and then they kicked him out. And I said, that could be us. We'd be out in the cold.
And like, why would you want to get kicked out? You came to see the show. What enjoyment does crowd surfing bring to you that just standing there and watching the show? This is my justification. Like, I just am tired, and I'm like, I just want to see the band and drink my beer and stand at the back.
You're older than your time.
Yeah, I'm like, no, kids, you're loud and you're running around everywhere, and your energy is disgusting, and I just want to watch the band.
Is disgusting.
Speaking of, because we're talking about shows, are there plans for any shows coming up? Anything in Chicago or anywhere, I suppose?
There's nothing in writing at the moment. There are some potential things that could happen, but there's nothing in writing yet.
Okay.
Sounds like we should be looking out for something soon, though.
We'll see.
It's a very don't count your chickens before they hatch situation.
Yeah. We got to get this pandemic over with and get these gentlemen practicing a little bit more frequently. And
very fair.
We'll be practicing, period.
Yeah. Well, I was being kind.
Yeah. It feels like everyone, like there's like dust to shake off, but also like fans are just super accepting and super into it right now. Like, you can go to a show and the band can be like, I don't know, we haven't done this in a couple of years. Like, bear with us. And the fans are like, yeah, fine. Absolutely. And like, they don't even care if like, it's like the being at the show is the most important part of it. It doesn't really matter how you play.
That's good to know.
I think that was the yeah.
Yeah. Pressure's off.
Chance.
You just got to show up, and the fans are going to be like, yeah, this is great. Stand there on stage, just like high five a couple people.
Right.
Satisfied. Worth the price of admission.
Yeah, when they did those songs at the House of Vans over the summer with actually Dan from 88 Fingers Louie joined them for a couple songs. I know those guys were happy to be playing again for sure.
And I think Jeff is back officially.
Yeah, he comes and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think am I frozen on your screen?
No, you're good.
I'm frozen. I'm frozen on my screen.
No,
Ooh,
you're moving
okay.
on ours.
Yeah, you're here with
We
us,
see
which
ya.
means so
All right.
we'll have this
All right.
all up too as on our YouTube channel too on Monday, so everyone can go see the non-frozen.
It might actually just be the same thing.
It will be.
Yeah, I pull it from the stream, so there you go. It's going to be the same video, but we do it primarily as audio, and then we're like, if you want to watch the video, if you want to join us for the stream, we're here.
If
And
you
then it's
wanna
like,
put like faces to voices,
Yeah.
there you go.
and then you have technology, and it's like, haha, you thought you were going to
You
get
thought-
that video, huh? Yeah, so I was hoping we could, try to push some tickets, some sales to your shows, but now I can't do that. So
We can push streams, 1 million streams.
1 million
on
streams.
The latest album.
Yeah.
That'd be nice. I'll take that.
1 million streams on the LP Over the Overlords. And the single is Living in the Good Times.
It is. Yep, we're working on another single release potentially on vinyl.
Ooh,
Just working on the B side. We have the A side figured out. The B side we're working on.
there we go. But don't worry, you can hear all of it probably whenever they play a show because it'll all be under 2 minutes with a couple 3 minutes and 30-second songs thrown in for funsies.
That's right.
I also appreciate Wax Tracks in the chat saying push sales of the album.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So can they get it on Wax Tracks' site, like through them
They can.
directly?
They can.
So, I mean, why listen to it on Spotify when you could just own it from Wax Tracks?
Right.
I'm just
vinyl.
saying. Yeah.
That's right.
You need to clip this and make it your ad. That's fine too.
Do it, yeah. Who doesn't have a record player? Oh, Brian doesn't, but most other people do.
I have
a record player
one
nowadays.
It's in there.
Where?
I put it away when
Oh,
I'm not
interesting.
listening to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I
That's
don't.
crazy, bestie.
I'm gonna put this away. I'll listen later.
Listen, you gotta have the surround sound set up. Is really what it comes.
Yeah,
down
I don't
to,
have that.
Okay.
What is your turntable like over by your air fryer?
Nice George Foreman grill.
Yeah.
George Moore. Oh my God.
I have it in the living room, but I don't have a ton of vinyls. Like that just wasn't my collector thing. I have a few that I've gotten with like some albums I bought. Like the vinyl was part of like a deal. Like you buy like a concert ticket, you get the vinyl, you get the CD as download and all that. So that's really all I have is like random vinyls. So having the record player out all the time because you can just like condense it and put it away, and it has its own little built-in speaker. Like I don't need this out like all the time. It's just going to be sitting there and not playing any music. But then you're like, okay, let's bring it out for the friends, the people who are coming to hang out
For the parties.
Yeah, or
What do you have, like a close and play?
Is this a Crosley, Brian?
Yeah, it might. I don't know. It's
You don't admit this on public radio here. This is
apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't live, and no one will hear this. No one will. I won't be outing myself to everybody.
Brian is about to like text me afterward and be like, "You got to cut it out of the episode." And be like, "No, you."
I
be here and
literally
be roasted.
I've literally already said it to people. Like you can't edit this out. They already have it in their brains.
So Brian, you're more than welcome to come to my house and listen to the album Over the Overlords on vinyl, because honestly, that's the way it's meant to be heard.
Okay.
It's pretty special.
Okay. See, maybe I just need the right record to go, no, this is the only way. I got to listen to it this way.
Yeah, I mean, again, these guys carefully curated the order of the songs. That's why there's interludes to connect certain songs to other songs. There's an intro and outro. It's meant to be heard from start to finish. in a specific order. So
I like that.
That's the best way to listen to music. I only listen to albums in full. So
there you go.
I love the transitions and like getting it ingrained in my brain. So if someone ever plays that order, I'm like, hey, don't do that.
Don't do this.
Yeah, so we had a blue and white vinyl that was available on Anxious and Angry only, and then a black and white or gray kind of smoky color limited edition on Wax Trax. And now you can still get the sort of translucent red and black vinyl is available on both Anxious and Angry as well as Wax Trax records.
I'm getting the link to throw it in the chat just so you all know where to go get it if you're here.
In the best way possible.
If you're here, you can go get it there. Before we wrap up the interview part and we just talk with our lovely friends here in the chat, where can people find you on the internet? Where can people support you on the internet? Where can people get all the other stuff? All the stuff.
All the stuff. Where's all the stuff?
Where's all the stuff, man?
So yeah, Instagram, it's Naked Raygun Official. You can get us on Facebook, Twitter, same handles. So pretty much any social place. And then our stuff, our officially licensed gear is available at anxiousandangry.com. We also have a distribution deal if you happen to be listening and you're in Europe with Plastic Heads. They have all of our official merch, both T-shirts and music, available on their site if you're one of our European fans.
We have some UK people. Get over there, get it done. Get the merch.
Yeah,
pick it up. Pick up the vinyl.
Yeah. So we just did a limited edition skateboard deck with Satan Records. So expect 2 more coming shortly.
I didn't think you were going to say records. I thought you were just going to say we did a skateboard with Satan and be like, interesting. I didn't know he was doing deals.
He was a record label.
He is.
Yeah.
He's a wheeling dealer, man.
Satan shreds.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's that Disney skateboard that Lizzie was talking about.
Yeah, that's actually what it was. It was just subliminal messaging.
Yeah.
They put that and then they put Simple Plan. They said, this is it, kids. This is it.
Well then we'll wrap up the interview portion and we'll stick around on Twitch and talk with everybody who's hanging out. But yeah, go and buy the vinyl, Wax Trax Records. If you're listening and you're only hearing the audio of this, go get it off of Wax Trax Records site and support them with an actual physical vinyl release that is meant to be played in order. Because there's not enough of those, and Spotify is automatically shuffling everything, and it's dumb. So go check it out, follow them on everything, and yeah, guys, it was excellent to have you on tonight.
It was great. Thanks
for having us.
Thank you very much.